Hello, Divine Assets family. We are back. If you are new here, my name is Sis Star Spoken, spiritual advisor and transformational coach, also poetic lyricist. My transformational coaching practice focuses on helping people deepen their spiritual practice, identify and recover from trauma, and at the same time identify and be empowered by your personal uniqueness, gifts, and how you move through society. Right? So let's get into it. This channel is dedicated to giving you tools that can act as assets that ascend wherever you're at with your personal divinity, walking as your most godly self. Right? So let's get into it. Today, our topic, or what we're going to be talking about, is the benefits of visualization and why visualization exercises are utilized within our spiritual practices. So we're going to talk about the science of it. I'm going to show you some visuals because some people learn more visually, and then we're going to talk about it. Okay? So I'm going to have an assistant teacher today, which I'll introduce to you in just a second. And we're going to dive in. So first and foremost, what I want you to leave this video with is having an implanted visualization and understanding how you literally play a part in creating your reality. And it all starts with imagination and visualizing. And it's proved and backed by science. So let's do it. So the first thing we want to cover and dive into, I want to show you this quick clip. And basically, we're going to dive into a little bit of quantum mechanics today. What is quantum mechanics? So first off, quantum is the smallest unit of a phenomenon, right? So the particles and the existence in universe that you cannot see with your three-dimensional sight, it's so small. That's the quantum world. That's the quantum aspect of reality. So quantum mechanics, the mechanics of dealing with the quantum world, the unseen, the mysticism, the science behind the mysticism that we've been utilizing throughout the beginning of Earth. So, and that's why I love quantum mechanics, quantum physics, because it helps people understand the magic. It helps people understand that it's not just woo-woo and people who just used to run around fires and just do stuff. No, they were doing things that made sense and they just knew it in spirit. They didn't need to watch these videos or read books or go to science courses and all that kind of stuff. We were more evolved. But anywho, I'm going to show you this clip. And what this is showing you, we'll talk about in a second, is how your brain waves move, how matter moves. So we're going to look at that so you can get a slight understanding. And then we're going to the next thing. So go ahead and take it away, assistant.
If we randomly shoot a small object, say a marble, at the screen, we see a pattern on the back wall where they went through the slit and hit. Now, if we add a second slit, we would expect to see a second band duplicated to the right. Now, let's look at waves. The waves hit the slit and radiate out, striking the back wall with the most intensity directly in line with the slit. The line of brightness on the back screen shows that intensity. This is similar to the line the marbles make. But when we add the second slit, something different happens. If the top of one wave meets the bottom of another wave, they cancel each other out. So now there is an interference pattern on the back wall. Places where the two tops meet are the highest intensity, the bright lines, and where they cancel, there is nothing. So, when we throw things, that is, matter, through two slits, we get this, two bands of hits. And with waves, we get an interference pattern of many bands. Good. good so far.
So, now that you watched that clip, what I want you to think about is this. First and foremost, yes, the water is more relevant to how our brain waves move than the matter. Yes, our brain is made of matter, but when we have a thought, it comes out in a wave. When we receive a thought, it comes in as a wave. When you experience telepathy with people, you're exchanging waves. So just how the water began to cancel itself out when another wave came on top of it, that's an example of what's happening when you come up with a vision, right? And you're like, okay, this is what I'm going to go after. This is my goal. This is what I see. And then you have a bunch of other visions right behind it. You never focus on one. They begin to cancel each other out. They're never focused to create a strong one wave of energy. It's a bunch of waves all over the place. Now, if you continuously do that, and it's the exact same pattern, like the exact same thoughts that come right after each other, it'll still create a movement and an energy over time. But the term that the scientists use when he said cancels out, we need to take that into perspective. Because when you're doing visualization exercises, which we'll talk about in a second, you want your vision to be heard by the universe. You want it to be felt. You want it to be focused, and you want it to come in strong. So it's best to have a vision, to have one goal of manifestation at a time, or focus on one thing at a time periodically. If you have about 3 things that you're trying to make happen or come into your life within a certain amount of time, a month to 3 months or 6, then you take that time. Maybe you give this one, this part of the day, and then this part of the day, or back to back to back. And sometimes when I do my altar work, I'll focus on something and I'll do my ritual for that. Then I'll focus on something, do it for that. I'm not cluttered in my thought process for my vision, because at the same time, everything I give a lane to, a focus, is all a part of one vision. Everything connects. I do nothing that does not connect. And that's something to think about as well. So, the matter, the marble, represented matter. How we can see things on a regular basis. We see it as it is. If you throw a ball and somebody catches it, it was a ball, and went over there to the glove, it was caught. That's the end of it, right? But we know it's a lot more than that. We know gravity played a sense. We know in the midst of it is particles moving around in the air. There's bacteria that we can't see. There's all kinds of things going on within one scene of the most simplest things happen that we can't see. So now let's look at this video, and then we're going to talk about this. We take it quantum. Take it over.
Let's go quantum. An electron is a tiny, tiny bit of matter, like a tiny marble. Let's fire a stream through one slit. It behaves just like the marble, a single band. So, if we shoot these tiny bits through 2 slits, we should get, like the marbles, 2 bands. What? An interference pattern. We fired electrons, tiny bits of matter, through. But we get a pattern like waves, not like little marbles. How? How could pieces of matter create an interference pattern like a wave? It doesn't make sense. Completely baffled by this. So they decided to peek and see which slit it actually goes through. They put a measuring device by one slit to see which one it went through and let it fly. But the quantum world is far more mysterious than they could have imagined. When they observed, the electron went back to behaving like a little marble. It produced a pattern of 2 bands, not an interference pattern of many. The very act of measuring or observing which slit it went through meant it only went through one, not both. The electron decided to act differently, as though it was aware it was being watched. And it was here that physicists stepped forever into the strange, never world of quantum events. What is matter? Marbles or waves? And waves of what? And what does an observer have to do with any of this? The observer collapsed the wave function simply by observing.
So, now you can see that on a quantum level, matter moves the way the water moves. And when matter moves the way water does, while being observed, it changes. So what does that mean, right? So what that means is, on a quantum level, there is limitless possibility. So that's why terms like magic is like woo-woo, like, whoa, what are you doing? Da, 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 da. No, it's moving with the universe. It's actually working with nature because nature is limitless. To have all those structures and to think of things as is an illusion. When we walk on the ground, we're not even touching the ground. When you look at it on a quantum level, we never actually touch the ground. It's layers of energy vibrating that makes us feel like it's hard. Anybody who went skydiving like I did, you know what that feels like, because when you jump out of a plane, it doesn't feel the way a roller coaster feels. When you jump out of a plane, the air catches you. You're going so fast, it feels like you didn't go anywhere and the air caught you and was trying to push you into another direction. That's how these things work together. It's an illusion. So, what does that mean? What that means is everything that you see right now and everything you have the ability to see is working with the quantum world at all times. So the reason it's so important to do visualization exercises with your spiritual practice is, what does that mean? That means to be able to see something, almost smell it, see it vividly as you chant, as you meditate on it. Because you're telling the universe, you're telling matter, this is what I want to put together. Until the matter moves like pixels and creates the movie, and you're in it. That's how this works. You are already in a virtual reality game. You're already in it. We're already in the metaverse. That's why the Matrix movie was so big, because we're already in one. It was talking about how the universe works. And your reality is based on your visualization. Because once you begin to observe, matter starts to move and operate with that observation. What I just showed you was the split theory experiment, which proves the observer effect. That when you observe something, it changes. There's another experiment, I can't think of the name of it now, but if you just Google cat experiment, cat dead and alive or something like that. That was a big one for quantum physics because it showed the observer effect. They put a cat in a box, gassed it, and put a camera in there. The camera showed the cat alive, like nothing was even happening inside the box. Until the man opened the box. And then when the man opened the box, the cat was dead. Because the man expected to see a dead cat because he put deadly gas in the box. But the universe didn't give a damn about that gas. The cat didn't know nothing about the gas. The cat was alive until a thought moved matter that said it wasn't. So in one reality of existence, it was alive. And in a reality the man could see, it was dead. Phew. Yeah, that's right. Not only what you see have you visualized and made into your reality, but what you chose not to see still exists. What you choose does not make it the only reality in existence. Something else exists on the other end of that. Particles flip all the time with options. That's why on a quantum level, before it was observed, it went everywhere. The particles flew everywhere because it's limitless options of a reality or of a chosen space of existence. So what I want to challenge you guys with is this. I know a lot of you make like vision boards. I do vision altars. Shout out to Jasmine Aiden, one of the best spiritual practitioners in Los Angeles. But beyond a vision board, beyond a vision altar, and no, a vision altar is not a vision board with a candle. No, it's much more in depth than that. But I will have to teach you altar work before we get into that, because that's a little bit more advanced, and the different types of altars you can do. But the first thing you have to master is thought. It doesn't matter what you put on a board and see every day and practice the law of attraction. You have to be able to imagine when your eyes are closed. The vision board is for your subconscious mind, something that's there all the time that you just see without even worrying about seeing every day. But the law of attraction existed before somebody made that up. Before The Secret came out and they was talking about vision boards and all of that in that book, we were doing it. And it starts with your ability to imagine, to have images in your mind. And at the point in which you are utilizing your imagination, you are becoming more godly, because that is the godliness. That is what God does to create. It starts with a thought, an image of imagination. And then before you know it, you're inside of it. Anything that I spent a lot of time on imagining, down to the detail of it, I ended up being in it. And the practice is not hard to learn to, without doubt in your body, live in a reality. Know it, smell it, believe it, without a doubt. What you'll learn over time is to enjoy the moment once you realize you're in it. Because when you first wake up in it or you see it, you're like, it's almost like you've been there already. That's how vivid your imagination has to be. And I've experienced it over and over again. It's like, it's not an initial excitement, because it's like, okay. It feels like your body caught up with the vision. And that shows you the balance of how the universe works, because you will naturally go into the law of action. Because what starts to happen is you see this vision and it's just sitting there like a projector all the time, right? And if that's happening and you just saw how matter moves and how it exists and how it flows and how brain waves move and water flows when it just have one slip, what happens? Matter starts to move. It's like a magnet. Things start to move around and magnetize and become a magnet to that vision. You start to come across people that have this skill or know about this, and that can be utilized for this vision. You start to end up places that you meet, get different types of opportunities, or you just end up at the right place at the right time. You end up meeting other people who their vision matches yours. So now you're bringing your skills together. Just different things happen while you're walking and doing your everyday life. You can have a regular job. You can not. You can just get on the train and just make sure you're just out of the house and things start to happen. You just have to be in movement. It doesn't have to be anything specific. And I know a lot of people say that because they don't like to tell people, don't do anything with your life and don't just sit there and think about stuff and this and that. Well, no, that's a part of it. You do need to spend time sitting and thinking about stuff. That's a fact. I teach you specifically on how to do that in our in our spiritual coaching, and we'll be learning stuff like this and digging deep into the science behind the benefits of these things in my spiritual course that will be available for you in January. And that's a part of it. That's a part of the routine, the sequence of rituals, the visualization, the ability to imagine and to have an emotion of knowing, of clarity behind the visualization. On our retreat in January, we'll be doing visualization exercises. We'll be doing a guided meditation utilizing visualization exercise for trauma release and to help release things that are hindering your godliness. So we will be doing that. And I'm thinking that was enough information for that. I think you guys get it. Just the visuals alone, you will never unsee it. And just think about that as you go through your daily life. You know, of course, have things around your house that are a representation of what you're trying to attract in your house, in your life. Write things down. We'll get more detailed over time, over different rituals to do. Or so I am doing one-on-ones again. If you want to contact me, description, and it's in the description box. And we'll just go from there. Peace to you all. I hope you've been great. And I'll talk to you again soon.